It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, September 7th. We are live from our studios in the Pine and at the Garrison Secondary School, where we will be joining Pearson Boyne. This is Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Morning Barbados. I'm Katrina Marshall, all alone in the studio, but ably assisted at the Garrison Secondary by Pearson Boyne. Morning, Pearson.
Good morning, Katrina. Good morning, everybody as well. It is a beautiful day, a day of learning excellence right here at the Garrison Savannah. All around me are signs of excellence, eagles soaring to the sky. We're also in the very historic Garrison area, which is also known for as a World Heritage Site, as you would have known, designated just earlier. This year, we are at the Garrison Secondary School. That's because 36 years ago, the doors were flung open here for just over 1,200 students in a society of excellence, and there's so many of them whom we'll be interacting with this morning. We'll get a chance to go through the history, 36 years until now. Actually, there's a woman here, Katrina, who has been here from the very first day.
From the very beginning.
Very, very beginning. Can you imagine 36 years going to the same location? I'm not necessarily saying doing the same thing, but certainly turning up one place all the time for 36 years? Can you imagine that?
I can barely get my brain around it, Pearson, but it speaks to the quality and the excellence that has become the hallmark of the school at the location where you are at right now. We're going to be going backward and forward between myself and you at the Garrison this morning. Happy to have everyone in company, and a hearty congratulations to anyone who has been a part of that tradition of excellence for 36 years. So before we get into the discussions with all sorts of people, the ones who've made that history a part of their lives, and vice versa, we're going to give you a few of our top lines. Government is hoping that it will soon have a solution to the Clico debacle. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair says he's met with the judicial managers in a bid to try and resolve the issues. Barbados and China have signed 4 agreements totaling about 16 million Barbados dollars. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair says the two countries have already agreed that they will be replacing the scoreboard at the gymnasium. China's ambassador to Barbados, Wei Chang, says he's pleased with the agreements. He says that Barbados and China have enjoyed warm relations since 1977 and are looking forward to further enhance their cooperation. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Stephenson King has been defending a 10 million EC dollar stimulus package launched by his administration. He says it represents a creative and proactive initiative designed to deliberately stimulate economic activity at the grassroots level. Those are just some of the stories that we'll be following in full detail in our main news package at the top of the hour. But for right now, we tell you what's making headlines around the world. Pearson's got a copy of the International Herald Tribune.
Yes, I do indeed. Thank you, Katrina. Now, there's some very interesting stories in today's International Herald Tribune, thanks to Newspaper Direct, and you can find them newspaperdirect.com. There's a story that reads, a swift move with force to halt the runaway rise of the franc, and we're hearing all sorts of economic woes across the world. While alarmed by the threat of a soaring currency posed to that economy, Switzerland's central bank sought on Tuesday to set a cap on the value of the franc against the euro and said it was prepared to spend an unlimited amount to defend it. Well, they're concerned of a double-dip recession, so naturally in Switzerland and in the EU, they're going to try to balance out what's happening there with the currencies. Also within Europe, there is panic. Remember the collapse of the Lehman Brothers Bank in the United States? Well, Europeans certainly do. As a divided European struggles to contain its sovereign debt, the greatest fear is that one of its major European banks might fail, setting off yet again another economic crisis, global, like that one that engulfed our economies after Lehman filed for bankruptcy in September 2008. But they're prepared to throw hundreds of billions of euros of government support if necessary to avoid a breakdown of that particular European currency there. Now, here's a very interesting story also on the front page of today's International Herald Tribune. It'll probably make a lot of men chuckle. As more women choose to have babies on their own and the number of children born through artificial insemination increases, outsized groups of donor siblings are starting to appear. Well, now there's growing concern about potential negative consequences of having so many children fathered by the same sperm donor, including increased odds of, get this, accidental incest. Great cause for concern, but you can read all of these stories and a whole lot more in today's International Herald Tribune, thanks to Newspaper Direct. Find them online, newspaperdirect.com. On the front page of today's Barbados Advocate, RedJet is fully operational. That confirmation is coming from the CEO. The full story is on page 7. Closer ties, Katrina just mentioned to you in our top lines from CBC News. Barbados-China relationship has been boosted as a consequence of that signing of a deal for just about $16 million. Integrity legislation needed urgently. Who's saying that? Integrity legislation in Barbados in the form of the Prevention of Corruption Bill should be deferred no longer, but should instead be passed in a timely manner. You can read the full story on the front page. On the back page, however, Barbadian students are aiming high. They're heading for scholarships. The chevening applications from Barbados are outstripping those from the OECS. We're very pleased about that. Also on the back page, I like this story. Look at that. There was a match played yesterday at the National Stadium, a World Cup qualifier between the Soca Warriors, Trinidad and Tobago, and Barbados. Doesn't it look as if he's trying to pull him away from the ball? Trinidad whipped our butts 2-0, but nevertheless there's a return match coming up in October, and that is part of the action that we would have played yesterday at the National Stadium in that qualifier. In today's Midweek Nation now, WikiLeaks takes a turn in the Coast Guard. You've been following the revelation recently by WikiLeaks of a whole host of other what were considered to be secret documents. Page 5A tells what's happened as they have released some documents implicating our Coast Guard. Bed sores worry at the geriatric hospital, that's on page 7A. Also on the front page, a lesser count. Manslaughter charge against Bearcombe has been withdrawn. It's been lowered now to a lesser count. You can read the full story in the Midweek Nation. On the back page, wrong copy. The University of the West Indies, they're objecting to using Mona Campus's terms as a gauge with B copy to determine just what it is that they owe to that copyright in agency as a consequence of much of the work that they do, copying scholarly work for distribution. So you can read those stories in today's Midweek Nation. Katrina?
Thanks so much, Pearson. The headlines are very titillating. I don't know. We have unrest in the Middle East and problems with the euro, and now we have to worry about accidental incest. The word has indeed gone mad. And the WikiLeaks scandal continues. One of the stories that I was looking through when you were talking about the newspapers was that the Coast Guard head confirms that little chat. World whistleblower website WikiLeaks has suggested there was internal corruption in the Barbados Coast Guard and that a new commander was drafted in 2 years ago to clean house. We're going to find out the details to that story. The WikiLeaks leaking continues. For right now, we're going to tell you what's happening with the Moscow Ballet on Ice. They'll be coming out very shortly. Of course, it's Wednesday, so who else would we have but our doctor on the line as we celebrate 36 years of a healthy relationship at the Garrison Secondary. For right now, we're going to take a very short break, and then we'll be back.